Okay, jail part 2. Alright, so upon hearing this, the deputies, they kind of freaked out, and they got all the other prisoners out of the way, transferred them up. And the deputies radioed somebody saying that we have a bearded chick here, blah blah blah, so all the pronouns changed to she now, and they said that they'd have to get a female deputy down here to examine me to make sure. And it was all just really dramatic and ugly. So a female deputy had to come down, and I had to go behind like in a little cell with her, and it was just so awkward, and drop my pants in front of her so she could, tell them for sure I didn't have a penis. At that point they were pissed off at West Hollywood, and so I was put in another holding cell, and then I had to wait for West Hollywood. West Hollywood came again, new deputies, picked me up, and they were going to take me to the women's facility. And I should say that before I was locked up again, I begged them. I said, I don't want to go to the Linwood facility, and they said I had to go. That unless I have a penis, I can't stay. I have to go. So I did FTM 101 again with these guys. They were pretty cool, and they, said that they wish they could keep me at West Hollywood, but they couldn't. So upon arriving at the women's facility in Linwood, it was like, you could hear the crickets chirping. It was like, what is going on? And I was being stared at, obviously. I didn't belong there. And then some douchebag deputy guy was just like, well, you have to have a cavity search like every other woman that comes in here. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna have a cavity search. I was just not really searched, but I had to drop trout in front of someone just a few hours ago. So thankfully I didn't have to deal with this guy, but they did want me to be examined again by a female nurse in the presence of a female deputy, with like two in a little mini cell with like two other deputies standing outside the door. It was like so ridiculous, and of course embarrassing and humiliating again. And of course, yes, I didn't grow a penis in the last 3 hours, so once again, yes, I guess that's where I belonged. And one of the deputies, female, she comes up to me and she says, I really support what you're doing. I think she knew someone that was transgender or something, and she was saying that she's going to explain people to use the right pronouns. Well, it was a mixed bag. I got he and she, whatever, but it's par for the course. It was just the icing on a horrible, horrible cake. Let's see. So I was processed again, and I was, had to change into the county clothes. And I gotta say, the underwear they gave me looked like giant grandma underwear. It was ridiculous. I could have pulled them up to my neck. That was disturbing. You change, you strip down while there's deputies there, and you put on your counties. Now, I have to say that, one of the little cherries on top of this experience was that, I was packing. So you have to put all your personal items in like a little Ziploc bag. So I had to take out my packing and put it in a Ziploc bag with everything else. And I can only imagine the conversation among the people that have to like deal with the little Ziploc bags of all these people. I mean, I must have been their night. I made their night. I'm not. Yeah, that was just ridiculous. Okay, so I was put in a holding cell. No blanket. It was freezing. They kind of just left me there, no food for the night. Kept telling me I was going to be transferred, but it never happened. I was just in a holding cell. Anytime any prisoners would walk by me, they looked really scared. They'd just like double take. It was interesting. I was not scared at all in the women's facility. And I was told that I would not be put in the general population. I would be kept separate because I would be a disruption. In the morning, they were doing a prisoner count of some kind. So like all these prisoners were put in these holding cells. I don't know what's going on, but There was probably there had to be like 70 some odd female prisoners that were in all these holding cells, and there's me. And I had to be walked through this room with all these holding cells to be transferred to the clinic because supposedly my medication. And the thing is that in jail, when you walk, they make you walk on these lines that are painted on the floor, and the lines are very close to the holding cells. And so I'm walking past all these women who are dead silent, and they're just staring at me, except like one girl who's like, "Oh my God, are you really a chick?" And I go to the clinic where I'm processed again, and I wait in a holding cell again. When I finally talk to the clinicians, they're curious about me too, and I go through FTM 101 again, and it's like ridiculous how many times I did like FTM 101. But the people were receptive and whatnot. But then they said I had to be examined by a gynecologist. So then I get taken to a gynecologist where and then there's like a female nurse that's the witness or something like that. And I just like, the whole thing is so fucking ridiculous and so humiliating. It's just like, once was enough. I'm not sure why I had to be examined twice at the same stupid facility. And I was put back in the holding cell again, and eventually I was going to be transferred to my cell. I had a different little ID bracelet again, and my brother posted bail for me, and I was released. So it was like Monday afternoon by the time I was released, and that's not even my arraignment. I would have stayed another full day if I had been allowed to stay and arraigned. But at that point, I would have been willing to stay in jail once I knew that they had the protocols and I would be safe, somewhat safe. But so that was my experience in jail. My suggestion is that have a phone number that you can memorize. It's a landline, and even have a contact person of someone in some kind of legal services that deals with transgender people. Because if you're in an area that that does not have some kind of protocol, and you would probably know. I think a lot of you in small towns probably know that there's no specific protocol for transgender people, and you may experience a lot worse than what I have. And it's good to remember people's names and have that contact information. At bails, if you're calling a bails person, they can contact them. But that's it. Yeah. So if you guys have any questions, you can ask me.